What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot to talk about here in this video, including thousands of Americans may miss out on up to $300 in direct payments. In fact, seniors could be included in this as well. I'm going to show you this here in this video. Also, up to 4.1 million households are owed $3.7 billion in stimulus payments from the IRS. And the prices of more than 1,200 prescription drugs outpaced inflation. And we know that inflation is at a 40-year high, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is what is really just driving the cost of Medicare, healthcare costs, private healthcare costs, and everything. More than 1,200 prescription drugs rose in price faster than the rate of inflation between 2021 and 2022. And we know how bad inflation is. It's literally the highest in 40 years. This is how bad they're price gouging us. According to a new report released by the Department of Health and Human Services this week. Between July 2021 and July 2022, the prices for 1,216 drugs rose more than 8.6%, more than the 8.6% rate of inflation, with these products having an average price increase of 31.6%. If that is not criminal, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. The price increases observed in 2022 were affected by the high rate of general inflation this year. 31.6% is the average price increase of these prescription drugs. The HHS report noted that most drug price increases occurred in either January or July. The prices for some drugs rose by more than 500% in 2022. This is because they're just allowed to charge us whatever they want, like the gas and oil industry, because they know that we need these. Like an antifungal medication, a common medicine, saw an increase of 1,101%. The price of one tablet went from $2 to $28 for one single tablet. Now, come on. Tell me your thoughts on this in the comments. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the Inflation Reduction Act will cap Medicare prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year once it's in full effect, which is about $166 a month, which is not bad. It's reasonable, especially when there was no prescription drug cost cap at all before this. Thankfully, they passed this. Remember, Democrats had to pass this on their own. All the Republicans voted no on this. But again, this is something good because this is better than no cap at all, where sometimes one or two medications can literally cost $2,000 a year. And the Inflation Reduction Act also capped insulin costs at $35 per month for people on Medicare, which is like over 60 million people, which is really, really good, but not for people with private insurance because all the Republicans, or not all the Republicans, but Republicans voted no on it. I think they only missed it by a few votes. They're going to try to vote on that again because this would be very, very important. Remember that the average cost for insulin, you can see here the average price of insulin, you can see here on the right, can be $700, $300, $700, $300. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So we really need to try to get this passed for private insurance as well, because this is a life-saving drug and people die because they can't afford it. So let's hope we can get this passed. All we need is a few Republican votes. Why they won't vote for this is beyond me. Now, a lot of our viewers in the comment section have told me that Walmart does sell insulin for $25 a vial, but it is a specific kind of insulin. So just note that obviously there's multiple different kinds of insulin, but they do sell it for $24.88 a vial. This article says except in Indiana. This article's like a year or two old, so I don't know if they sell it there now, but keep that in mind that they do sell it in Walmart. This one specific kind of insulin, so you can look that up or go and see if you can use that kind. Also, another person leading the charge, one of my favorite people, actually. He's a little abrasive sometimes if you watch the show Shark Tank, but that's just good because it's just kind of his role, and he tells entrepreneurs the truth in a short amount of time. Is Mark Cuban. He's a billionaire, and he's actually leading the charge on lowering the cost of healthcare for millions of Americans. He actually has a company called costplusdrugs.com. Yeah, it's Mark Cuban's. It's costplusdrugs.com. It looks like this. I'm not sponsored by him or anything like that. I'm just telling you this. I don't think they take insurance, but the reason they don't take insurance is because it's literally just very, very inexpensive drugs that is very, very cheap. I mean, it's literally like they tell you their actual cost of the drugs, the prescription drugs that they get, and they charge 15% more. They charge like a $3 pharmacist fee and a shipping fee. And again, if you think this might work for you, go check it out. Um, and again, don't buy from it if it's more expensive or if it doesn't work for you. But if it's cheaper for you for your specific case, then check it out. I mean, they literally have like thousands and thousands of medications, inhalers, tablets, like literally every single thing here. In fact, here's what Mark Cuban has to say here. Oh, and I also want to note here that Mark Cuban isn't even making money on this. I seen this in another interview. I don't remember if he said this in this interview. He's actually losing money on this company, at least at this point. So he's losing money on this, and he said he's not going to be. He doesn't even want to be bought out if another company comes to buy him out, because he says a lot of times that a company will come and buy out a company like this, and then they'll kill the company. They'll let it die because it's hurting the industry and it's taking away their profits. He said he's not going to do that. He said he's already a billionaire. He says that it's not going to affect his life, but this is one of his missions to help out people. He says they're losing money. He said you could go and see, I don't know, I don't know if it's public information or something like that. He says they're losing money on this because look at the cost compared to everywhere else. But and again, if the prices there aren't cheaper than where you can get them through your insurance company or anywhere else, don't buy them. But if they're cheaper, then hey, if it's a good decision, it's a good decision, right?
Joining us now, Mark Cuban. He's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He's an investor on Shark Tank and creator of the new company, Cost Plus Drugs. Good to have you on the show. We appreciate it. What do you make of this assessment of the economy not being as strong as initially thought, and where it stands right now? It feels so uncertain, especially in areas that are really viscerally felt, like the housing market.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to predict. You have so many externalities. You have the war in Ukraine. You have still just some disruption in supply chains. You have the devastation in Florida. You can't really predict where it's going, but I don't think we're due for a significant reduction in inflation for the next year or so.
So, Mark,
Well,
as you look at these sort of competing statistics that we're getting in, if you know, historically low unemployment, 11 million open jobs, but inflation through the roof and the Fed raising rates to try to slam the brakes on things. Just as a businessman, a man who looks at the big picture and puts money into the economy and decides where things are going, you've got so many Wall Street firms with a bleak outlook for 2023. How are you personally thinking about this economy?
You know, I try not to speculate. I try to invest in companies that I think have great prospects. And when everybody else is pulling back, that's the best time to invest. So that's where you can go out and find great entrepreneurs. And typically, you know, the cost to invest is now going to be lower than it was 6 months or 12 months or 18 months ago. So, you know, I'm trying to invest more, not less.
So I'm curious just how cost plus drugs and the decision for this company plays into where everybody stands right now, because there are certain areas of the economy that seem stable and then others where people are still really suffering. Hard to get an overall assessment as to where things are going. But how does that decision play into your assessment as to where things are going and what people need to get through these times?
Well, you know, when we look at healthcare, no one has ever said that healthcare is efficiently or carefully priced. Everybody looks at their healthcare costs, particularly medications, and knows that they're overpriced. I mean, none of us who get a prescription for a medication go to the drugstore even knowing what the price is going to be. So we started Cost Plus Drugs to deal with that. The idea that in 2022, people have to make choices between you paying their rent, buying food, or taking their medication is just wrong. So with Cost Plus Drugs, what we've done is created a goal. We're saying we want to be the low-cost provider for every medication we're legally allowed to sell. And so if you go to costplusdrugs.com, put in the name of your medication, not only are you going to see the price that we charge, but you're going to see how we arrive at that price. We show the price that we pay, literally the exact price that we pay for the medication from the manufacturer. We mark it up 15%. We add $3 for a pharmacy fee and $5 for shipping, and that's your price. And what that means is we're able to sell for 60, 70, 80, and sometimes 90% less than what you were paying at the pharmacy counter before. So we think that we're a great counter to inflation. We think that we reduce the stress of a lot of families. We all know someone who's had to make a really horrible choice on medication. Our mission going forward is to eliminate that choice so that you can always get your medication at the lowest possible price from Cost Plus Drugs.
I think he'd make a really good president, honestly. I think he's a good blend between a Republican and a Democrat. He's not too far left, not too far right. He knows how to run a business. He knows how to run, you know, and not run a country into too far of a deficit and manage money. But he also cares about people, as you can tell, where he, you know, would take care of the population. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if he's going to run for president or anything like that this year or in the future, but just think he looks like the type of candidate that would make a good president. Also, I've been meaning to cover this and I've been forgetting to cover this. Thousands of Americans may miss out on up to $300 in direct payments. See how to claim the cash. Here's the details on this. Older adults and retirees may miss out on up to $300 due to tax returns. The Illinois Department of Aging is encouraging these folks to complete the necessary forms to get the rebate on up to $300. In order to be eligible for the Illinois Family Relief Plan, which is kind of like a stimulus tax rebate plan that was passed here for the state of Illinois, residents must have paid Illinois property taxes in 2021 on their primary residence. However, Illinois state law doesn't require older or retired residents to file a tax return, which is interesting here. Luckily, people in these groups can still submit form IL 1040 PTR to get the cash, reports WGEL. I think that's a local news station there. This form can be completed online or by mail and must be submitted on or before October 17th. So that's pretty soon. So please share this video with anybody you may know from the state there that might be applicable You can look this up, Google this, or anything like this. IL1040 PTR. How much is the rebate? For this rebate, single tax filers will collect $50 per adult. Joint filers will get $100. And it's also $100 per dependent as well. In order for single tax filers to score the $50 rebate, they must not earn more than $200,000 or $400,000 as a married couple. Payments started going out on September 12th, but will take several weeks to finish being delivered if you haven't got them yet. And there's also a property tax rebate for property tax owners of up to $300 as well. So if you need more information, just go to Google and maybe look up the more information on the state website. So I'll keep you up to date here on more information. There's about 33 different states that are passing state stimulus checks, property tax rebate checks, and lowering taxes. And there's going to be even more so coming this year. And I'll link you to another video here on even more checks coming here, some actually this week as well. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. Click the bell icon after you subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Like I said, it's completely free to do so. You can click here to see a very important date coming out here in just a few days for Social Security recipients. And here is another video about more checks that are coming out to millions of Americans actually this week. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.